The following program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.
Hey there, everybody, and welcome to the Happiness Jungle TV show with yours truly, your Chief Happiness Officer, Lindy Eldridge. And I am really excited about today's show. We're going to talk deep, and we are going to we're going to help you take ownership. Ownership that's going to help you be able to look at your tomorrows with a smile and pat yourself on the back for everything that you've been through. Today on the show, we are talking about celebrating your failures. Woo-hoo! Celebrating your failures. And I have with us Miss Cammie Baker.
I'm the failure queen today.
Are you the failure queen?
I am. And do you know why?
Why?
Because if I'm not failing, I'm not trying.
And that is so true. And if we didn't fail, we wouldn't be here today. Huh?
That is true.
It is true. And if we didn't take ownership for our failures to make sure that we don't repeat the failures, but to grow from them,
Yep.
we really wouldn't be where we are today, huh?
And put those failures in the category of where we actually failed.
Mm-hmm.
Just because something didn't work out, this isn't about, is it really a failure or is it a learning experience or any of that? Look, it's all a learning experience. But this is about saying, okay, so that didn't work out. But just because that didn't work out doesn't mean that I'm a failure and I don't work and I should just give it up and curl under the blanket and go to sleep forever. It's that one little thing, even if it's a big thing.
Yeah.
What have you failed at lately, Lindy?
You know what? There have been personal relationships that did not work out the way that I thought they were going to.
And isn't it interesting? You can be the best business person in the world, but those personal relationships will cripple you.
Yeah.
In all aspects. Let's talk about our personal relationship failures, shall we?
Let's do it, because there are so many people out there that feel like they failed at their relationships, they can't move on, where in fact you can move on. I believe, I don't know if you agree with me or not, Cammie, ownership.
You have to take ownership.
Taking ownership of what your part was or is because of what happened. Because we're not all perfect.
So there's taking ownership of what happened, and there's also celebrating that something happened because you bothered to step out of your comfort zone and try it to start off with.
Right.
My most recent relationship failure, took me all the way across the country, but gosh, you know what? I'm a human being. I have a heart. That's right. And I just want love. I just want to love. I just want to be loved, and I was willing to move across the country. I was willing to give away everything that I have, sell everything, and go all the way into this relationship, and it didn't work out.
Right.
And you know what? I was pretty upset about it for a month. Mm-hmm. But a month, not a year, not 10 years, not take it with me to the grave.
That's right.
Not taking it to every next relationship.
Yeah.
Gosh darn it, I'm going to celebrate the fact that I want to love.
Yeah.
And then I put myself out there. And then I tried, and I gave it my all, and I went in. I saw a video recently that said, you need to celebrate the depth of how far you went in. And I thought, whew, I need to have a party. I need to have a party to celebrate how much I went into that. And you know what? Just because that situation didn't work out doesn't mean that I'm a failure.
Right.
Doesn't mean that I can't have a good relationship. Doesn't mean that I didn't try. So let's celebrate. If you're not failing, shame on you.
Yeah, it's true. And again, just being able to take the ownership so you don't repeat what it is that you might have brought into the relationship that wasn't working. Mm-hmm. And I laugh at people sometimes. I laugh at people all the time, don't I, Cammie?
I laugh at myself now.
I absolutely laugh at myself and with myself. But one of the biggest things that I know happens to many of us is that we take the junk that was from one relationship and we bring it to the next relationships, and we wonder why things aren't working out for us. There comes a point where you have to look in the mirror and you have to take ownership and you have to see your reflection. And if somebody and somebodies are repeatedly telling you the same thing, the same challenge that they're having with you, and you've had those challenges with other people and they're telling you that, then maybe that's the part that you should take ownership, so you could go ahead and take it and you could learn from that and you could celebrate it, good for you, and grow with it and not repeat it. It's just like any kind of a habit, whether it's smoking, whether it's drinking, whether it's whatever that habit is, as long as you're willing to take ownership for it, grow from it, then it's okay. Chalk that up and celebrate.
Because once again, if you're not failing, you're not trying.
Right.
So for anyone who says, well, I don't fail, well, shame on you.
Right.
You're not failing because you're staying in a comfort zone.
Right.
You're staying in status quo. You're not expanding your box. You're not looking towards the future or learning to grow. You're taking a class. You can fail a test. Just because you failed that test, does that mean you're a failure in life?
Right.
Does that mean you can't learn anything new?
That's correct.
Does that thing mean that if every test you ever take from now on,
Right.
you know, if you cook something in a pan and you burn it, does that mean you're going to burn everything you ever cook from now on?
So true. When you talk about test, many years ago, I was asked to go for my real estate license.
Oh.
And I did. I went for it. I went to the school. I studied. I even bought the instructor dinner so she would private tutor me. I mean, I went all in because that's what I do. If I make a commitment, I am all in. So now it's time. It's time. I'm done with the course. I've studied. It's time to book it and go take the test. Failed it. I was like, no, how could that possibly be? And I went back and I studied again and I rescheduled. And I went back a second time.
And isn't it
failed.
funny? Your friends will say, oh, you failed it. No, they should say, good for you that you took it.
Yes. And there was nobody to say to me, do it again. It was me who kept on saying, that's not happening. I did not invest all this time. There's something that I'm not doing right. So I'm going to study again, and I'm going back a third time. Failed. I failed it 3 times. The 4th time, I passed by 1 point. But I celebrated because all of those times that I failed brought me to that I was not going to give up, and I was going to figure out what I was doing wrong. Maybe it was the way that I was studying, but something changed in me that collectively had me celebrate because on the 4th try, I passed the test by 1 point. But I'm proud of that. I didn't get 100.
And did you learn every time you took it?
I did. Oh boy, did I learn.
And that's what's so important. So you learned from your failure.
Yes.
But even if you had never passed that test, you were one of the people who was willing to go to the class,
Yes.
willing to sign up to take the test.
Yeah.
You know, I've got my real estate license. Do you know how many people take the class and never take the test?
Yeah. What's up with that?
Or take the class, take the test, pass the test, and never sell any real estate?
Right. Right.
Yeah.
So whatever your passion is, then take it to the next level that you're desiring it to take it to, right? You know, there was a purpose that I was going for the real estate. It was a business that I had. We needed that part of the puzzle, right, for the business. And but I learned from it, and I was proud of that. So whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish, right, whether it's a career, whether it's personal relationships.
That person that you said we needed you to get your
Yes.
real estate license.
Yes.
Was that person, when you failed, did they say, that's too bad, shame on you, you can't pass? Or
No.
did they say, good for you that you took the test?
They said, you're going to do better the next time.
Think about the people that you're hanging out with.
Yes, absolutely.
You know, are your people celebrating your failures? Because
Very
if
good
they're
point.
not, if they're the people that are making fun of you for failing,
Right.
you know, so many of us, I know one of the things I've said on this show before, and I've said on many other shows and interviews, when people say, well, what's that one piece of information that you would give people? Change your playgrounds and playmates.
Yeah.
Who are you hanging out with? Are you hanging out with people that say, You
Correct.
failed.
And no matter how old you are, there are those people, aren't they?
Well, hey, look, I'm 49 years old. I'm 49 years old. I had that relationship, and there were people that when I came back, they were like, oh, yeah, I didn't think that would last. And, you need to take your time next time. Look, I'm learning as I go.
That's right.
What my part, as you said,
Yeah.
what my part in it is. But at the same time, I celebrate that, hey, I'm willing to take a risk.
Yeah.
I'm willing to take a risk because I want to love and I
That's
want to be
right.
loved. I would rather have loved and lost
Yeah.
than to have never loved at all.
Well, you can't take ownership of somebody else's disguise. Right?
No, but you can't take ownership of not taking the time
To learn
To
if there
learn.
is a disguise.
to learn and see if there is a disguise.
Yeah. So you learned from it, though.
So what are some other mistakes you think the viewers have made that makes them feel like a bit of a failure?
I think that they're sometimes they're staying put in what they want to do for a living.
It's awesome.
They're settling.
They're settling.
That's failure. Settling is failure. You're not moving ahead. You're not growing. We all have so much to give in this world. And we're only on it for as long as the good Lord, whatever your belief is allowing us to stay here. Why not make sure that we are happily doing the things that we want to do on a daily basis?
They say on your deathbed, you're not going to regret the things that you did. You're going to regret the things you didn't.
And here's the other thing. Now that you talk about that part of it, I love the show today, is that I want to make sure that when I leave this world, I leave empty. That I have given everything that I know that I'm passionate about with all the glory that I can possibly do and teach the people what I have failed at so maybe they can learn from it. That's what I mean by I want to make sure I'm empty when I leave the earth, right?
I'd rather be laying there on the deathbed saying, let me tell you something else I tried and it didn't work.
That's
And then
right.
I did this. But I met this person along the way, and I
Yes.
met that person along the way, and I took this class, and I burnt that, but I learned how to make that.
Yeah.
That's way better than laying there thinking, wow, I wish I'd have spent more time with the kids. I wish I'd have taken that class. I wish I'd have gone skydiving. You don't want to fail at skydiving, but you know what I mean.
Hey, I had a friend that failed at skydiving and
Ouch.
survived. It was an ouch. It was an ouch. It never opened up. Boom. She was paralyzed. But guess what? She worked at it. She worked really hard at physical therapy. And I mean, worked it. If they said do this, she did it 10 times more. That's another thing, right? Your health. If you're not feeling good, what are you feeding your soul? What are you doing?
And what are you being grateful for?
And
Because
what are you grateful for?
what is the story? The guy was sad because he didn't have any shoes, and then he met somebody that didn't have any feet. Like,
Yeah.
find things to be grateful for, find things to celebrate.
That's right.
Find things to be passionate about. In the last 6 weeks since I left that relationship, I had a few weeks of feeling pretty sorry for myself, but I didn't let it keep me down.
Right.
I learned how to get up every day and say, thank you, God, I'm so grateful. I see people that have a hard time getting around, I say, thank you for my health. I see people that don't have a place to live, and I say, thank you that I have a place to live. Thank you that in this 10-degree below weather right now, that I'm
Craziness.
warm.
Yeah.
Thank you, God, for the friends that I have.
Amen.
Right?
Thank you.
What can you be grateful for? What can you celebrate? So what, you failed.
Yeah. Or are you going to be like, there's a little story. There's a man and a woman, and they're sitting outside on chairs, and they have a dog right beside them. And the dog is howling in pain. Ow, 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 ow. And people are passing by, and they're looking at this couple like, how could you possibly let your dog go through this? What is going on? What is the pain? And then somebody finally stopped and said, what kind of people are you? Your dog is crying. Your dog is in pain. And the owner looked at the person and said, excuse me, my dog is sitting on a nail. And if it really hurt him bad enough, he'd get up and move.
Yep.
Hello.
Right?
I've never forgotten that story. And there are so many different versions of it. But how many people are still sitting on the nail?
Another way of putting that in some circles I run in is, I wish you all the pain you need to grow.
Amen.
Wish you all the pain you need to
Yeah.
grow, because when you've had enough,
You'll
when
get up.
I, in the last 6 weeks, when I had enough, I grew.
Yeah.
And I've got one more layer,
Right.
and I've got more compassion.
Yeah. And it is painful. You know, life, that's part of life. If you haven't felt pain, then how can you possibly succeed?
If you haven't felt pain, how can you feel pleasure? How can you know what
Right.
love is? How can you know how to feel good if you don't feel
Yeah.
bad every now and
How
then?
can you be independent?
And the trick is to just not stay there.
Yeah.
It's to not stay there. And to look at it from our perspective of celebrate good times, come on.
So true.
You know, people talk about having a divorce party. Yeah, have a divorce party. You
Right.
know what? You got a divorce. That doesn't make you a failure in life.
That's right.
It doesn't make you a bad mother. It doesn't make you a bad friend. It doesn't make you a bad employee. You had a relationship that didn't work out.
Right.
Categorize it. Categorize it, and then, as you say, learn from it.
Yeah.
Don't make
build-
yourself a huge failure because of that.
That's correct. That's correct. And build on that. And don't, you said it already, don't stay in your inner circle. Venture out to meet new people. It gives you a new beginning.
That has been so instrumental for me personally in this failure time.
Yeah.
Thank you, God. And learn to say thank you. Learn to say thank you, even if it's in your heart and under your breath, for the person or the places or the situations
Right.
that you feel were a failure. Thank you for that experience. Thank you that I learned this. Thank you that I now am more passionate about cause marketing.
Right.
Thank you that I'm able to discern what I want and I don't want in a relationship. Thank you for reminding me that respect and trust are more important than pretty looks.
Stop drinking the poison
And stop drinking the poison
and wishing the other person
and
to
wishing the
die.
other person would die.
Because the other person's partying and you are just like, you're getting older and you're still the same age.
Mm.
It's horrific, right? It's crazy.
And people do it all the time, you know, but pray for that person,
That's
pray
right.
for that situation, pray for yourself,
Yes.
learn to be grateful. Yeah, let's
Yeah.
celebrate.
You know, I enjoy working with my clients so much and helping them to understand that failure is an option. And it's okay. Go ahead.
Not only is failure an option, but it's the only option.
That's
In
right.
other words, if you're not failing, you're not trying.
Yeah.
You've got to. I want you to share with us how they can use a cookie.
Oh, my cookies. Wow. You know, I had no idea how powerful and how delicious a cookie could be until I started reminiscing about the beautiful relationships that I've built with people that are in my life that have great purpose. And it was all because I was walking or I was sitting and I looked at the person beside me, and for whatever reason, I asked if they wanted a cookie.
Like a real cookie?
A real cookie?
What the heck were you doing with the cookie?
I was enjoying the cookie, and I had an extra cookie. And instead of feeding myself, I wanted to share. A cookie could be the real cookie, or it could be a word that is delicious, a compliment, eye contact. Cammie, I love the way that you are dressed today. You look radiant today. You look beautiful. Are you going someplace today?
I've been with you in public places, in hotels, in coffee shops, on the street in New York City. And I have been with you when you have looked at a stranger and I thought, she knows this person. And just walked over and gave him a heart. Walked over and gave him a little emoji stuffed animal thingy that day.
That's right.
You know, giving him a cookie, whether it's an actual cookie or just a kind word.
Just a kind word. Those are cookies.
And it seems to me like it always raises your spirits when you do that. Not that they need to be raised,
right.
but it's just,
But they do.
yeah.
They do. That's my energy. That's my mojo. So can you imagine if you were doom and gloom? I want everybody just to try this. Just try this. If you're feeling doom and gloom and miserable, I promise you that if you could just smile at another person and give them a compliment, which is as good as a delicious cookie, they're going to smile and it's going to make you feel good. It has to. Because when you're helping somebody feel better, it makes you feel better. You don't have to do what I do for a living, which is very gratifying for me, but what you want to do is you want to be able for people to look at you and go, you made a difference in my life today, because we all serve purposes in life.
And you can see it in their face.
Yeah.
You know, I've learned this from you. I've got another friend who is, she's a photographer, and she just notices, like she'll look at somebody and say, wow, you've got great bone structure. The color of your eyes are amazing. And years ago, when I first saw her do this kind of thing, I was like, that's weird, like you're creeping people out.
Right.
But I realized that people in general don't get compliments from their friends,
Right.
much less a stranger.
That's right.
And I was going to title my book, Girl, I Love Those Shoes. Because when I would walk up to a stranger at a networking event and say, girl, I love those shoes, or I love that necklace or something, instant rapport and the smile on their face. So to go up to somebody at a coffee shop or at your kid's PTA meeting or at the soccer game, anywhere you are, and just find a reason to compliment someone, you can see them light up. And when you know that you've done that for them, for me, and I know for you, I see it.
Yeah.
It just, in that moment, the failures don't matter, the heartbreak doesn't matter, the divorce, the illness,
Doesn't matter.
the money, the finances, in that one instant, you just feel good.
Right.
Isn't that what it's all about?
It is. It's so all about. And don't care about what other people think. If I thought and I cared about what other people think just because I want to be kind, who would I be? What would I be doing? I know that there are so many times, I don't care if you're a guy, a girl, a boy, a girl. I don't care who you are, and I don't care who you're with. If I feel like giving you a compliment because I like your earrings, or I like the gentleman's shoes, or whatever, I compliment. Sometimes people are so not used to it that immediately they come back and go, I'm married. It's like, I wasn't trying to pick you up. I was just trying to pick you up spiritually wise.
But what a compliment to them,
though.
But what a compliment to them to think that you were hitting on them.
But it is hilarious, you know, so can you imagine if that was my mindset? Well, I can't give this person a compliment. They'll think I'm hitting on them. I don't even think about that. As a matter of fact, I look at them and I laugh.
You know what? I took have you ever heard of Landmark Education?
I did.
Have you done that?
Landmark is amazing.
Landmark is amazing.
They've been around for years.
Since the 70s at least. But one of the things that I got out of that whole curriculum of living, I did several different things with them, was that people are more afraid of you than you are of them. People aren't really thinking of you as much as you think they are.
Right.
You think, you, me, we all,
That's
you know,
right.
the world circles around me, and everybody's looking at me, and everybody's worried about me and what I'm saying at the
Right.
event or what I'm wearing. No, they're not. They're
That's
worried
right.
about them. They're thinking about them. And they are actually grateful to get a compliment most of the time. Now, sometimes they'll say, I'm married. But
It was so funny. I love when that happens. I just look at them and laugh.
And I love to say something to somebody. You know, I use networking as an example because I've been to so many stinking networking
Right.
events, and that's what I do. But I'll go to a networking event, and I'll see a table full of people. The average person would say, oh, I don't want to interrupt. I don't want to intrude.
Right.
What would I say? I don't want them to reject me. What if they don't talk to me? They got all these voices going on in their head. But for me, when I go to a networking event, 2 or 3 women sitting at the table, I'll walk right up to that table and I'll say, well, ladies, we're here to network. My name's Cammie.
Hello.
Hello. And do you know what? A lot of the times you can see their body language like, oh, thank God there's somebody else because I'm
Exactly.
bored. Or, oh, this is interesting. Like,
Or this is how I do it?
yeah.
Oh my God. She just said hi. I guess I should go say hi.
They're at a networking event
Yeah.
and they're afraid to go talk to people and network.
Right.
Somebody walks up and they're like, oh, hey, my name's so-and-so, because
right.
they didn't have the gumption or they were afraid of what people think.
Yeah.
You know, best tip for today is don't be afraid of what people think.
Amen.
And I'll give you an example. When all this stuff was going on with my relationship, there was actually somebody on Facebook that I didn't know that got involved in the mix and was saying some extremely hurtful untruths about me that I found out about. And you know, it's so funny. You can speak on stage and have 100 people tell you you're great, and one person say, boy, that sucked, and what do you think about?
Deflate.
That one stupid, bad person.
Yep.
You know? And I got caught up in that, and I was feeling like a failure. Like, oh, there's somebody out there that doesn't like me. There's somebody that thinks these horrible things about me. I was so worried about what that person thought.
Right.
You know, that I actually put a kibosh on my Facebook and cut off people that weren't my friends to see what I was doing. And I got sucked into that for a couple of weeks, but you know what?
Cammie,
C'est
give
la
a
vie.
good tip because we're running out of time.
That's my tip. Don't worry about what other people think. Celebrate your failures because it means you tried.
That's right.
And if you're not trying, you're not living, you're either growing or you're dying.
That's right. And just take ownership. Take ownership for the things in your life that you're not happy with and just tweak them because you will have what you want. The universe is good like that. Speak to the universe. Use positive words. Don't use negative words. Don't use hurtful words. And remember, every time you say a hurtful word, all you're doing is it's coming back to you to choke you. So everybody, just chill out. Be kind, be serving for you, and then for others. And just like you said, if 10 people love you and one person doesn't, it's okay. You're still doing something right. Isn't that true?
That's true. As a matter of fact, that's when you're doing something right. And they're
Exactly.
just jealous.
Yeah, it's just like celebrities. When you hear a celebrity and you hear bad press, they love that because they know they're doing something right.
Any PR is good PR.
Any PR is good PR. So with that, everybody, I never said that life was easy, but I did say that you can be happier. This is Cammie Baker and Lindy Eldridge saying failure is good.
Celebrate.
Celebrate. Celebrate good times. Come on. Bye, everybody.
The preceding program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.